Ma'am Myra, you are on mute.
Naka-mute ako. Oo nga. Okay, sige. Good afternoon. I am Myra Landagan, your moderator this afternoon. We welcome you, dear parents, faculty members, and staff, to another official event of the Department of Psychology's Parenting Webinar Series. This afternoon, our webinar is all about adjusting the sails, self-care for effective parenting. Also, before we would like to remind everyone to turn off your microphones
Ma'am Myra,
during
you
the
are on
entire
mute.
webinar proper. After the webinar
Good afternoon.
proper,
I am
we're
Myra
going to have
Landagan,
two
your moderator
reactors
this
to give us
afternoon.
meaningful
We welcome
insights
you,
and
dear
gist
parents,
about our
faculty
webinar.
members, and staff, to
Afterwards,
another official
we will
event
have the
of the
open
Department of
forum. You
Psychology's
may type in
Parenting
your
Webinar
questions at the
Series.
chat
This
box, or you may
afternoon, our
press the raise hand button and later turn on your microphone once your name has been recognized. As we start our webinar, I would like to call the Dean of the Institute of Arts and Sciences to give us the opening remarks. Please welcome Dr. Rowena Reyes Capulong.
Mark Isla, Associate Dean of IAS, Dr. Anel Humamil, Department Chair, uh, Psychology, Dr. Shay Coxon, past President of the Philippine Guidance and Counsel Association and FEU's Director for Guidance and Counseling, Babsi Morabe, Manager of the FEU Media Center Services and Faculty of the Department of Communication, Ms. Edalu Ochanco, Faculty of Department of Psychology, Myra Landagan, our moderator for today, and of course, Gabby Rodriguez, the coordinator of our psychology clinic, faculty and staff of the Department of Psychology. Dear students, good afternoon. Welcome to the third installment of the Parenting webinar. How blessed we are to be gathered this afternoon. I always say this. We would have wanted to do this face to face, but our virtual presence will make up for it. Kamusta kayong lahat? I enjoin everyone to say hi, unmute your microphones and say hello. I'm giving you a moment.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi.
yes.
Hi.
That sounds really good. Thank you for that. I believe this afternoon's topic is appropriate for us parents, adjusting the sails, self-care for effective parenting. For years now, I subscribe to this mantra. You cannot give what you do not have. As a parent, if we are not physically and mentally fit, we won't be able to raise our children to be happy, contented, smart, and caring human beings if these values are not present in our lives. Sometimes I know we feel guilty when we make ourselves the priority or inuna ang ating mga sarili. In this pandemic, we have doubled our concerns and we see our children struggling with mental health issues which we can't even pinpoint the cause. This is why we came up with a series of webinars for parents. We too need guidance to navigate this difficult situation. We are very fortunate to have a renowned speaker on mental health issues. She's a personal friend of mine. Together with Pedia Pharma Foundation, we started the No to Bullying campaign where we gave free lectures in schools in Metro Manila and nearby provinces. We also have Babsi Morave, our good friend and a former boss of mine at the Department of Communication. He's known for funny anecdotes about his son. And of course, the beautiful and colorful Miss Eda Ochanco. She has been with us from day one of the webinar series. Please allow me to thank everyone who made today happen. Dr. Humamil, Gab Rodriguez, Myra Landagan, Ian Evasco of MCO, faculty and friends. Once again, thank you very much. Magkita-kita tayo ulit. Let's listen to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. And now, to introduce our guest speaker, I would like to call the Psychology Department's Program Head, Dr. Ana Nelia Shumamil.
Thank you, Myra. Good afternoon. Our guest speaker was the former president of the Philippine Guidance and Counseling Association, which is the premier and PRC accredited and integrated professional organization for counselors in the country. A former branch leader for the American Counseling Association, a PRC CPD counsel, a guidance director, accreditor, human resource practitioner, consultant, author, curriculum developer, educator, trainer, researcher, and staunch advocate for anti bullying, career development, mental health, family, marriage, life, and child protection. At present, she is the guidance director of FEU Manila and Makati branches that oversees the management of the different programs and services of the FEU Guidance and Counseling Office. As a consultant and educator, she is currently the consultant of 5BC, Child Farm Possibility Psychological Solutions, Rex Publication, Project Inclusion, and Unilove Foundation. She authored several books, such as My Career Journey book series for students and teachers at the Rex publication, No to Bullying Handbook under Pedia Pharma Foundation, Remote Play Psychosocial Support Playbook and Resilience Toolkit for DepEd and Unila Foundation. She earned a certificate course on globalization of school psychology at the University of Nebraska-Kearney, USA, a certificate course on clinical and counseling supervision by the Australian Counseling Association and Optimize Potential Australia, cognitive behavior therapy course at the Beck's Institute, Philadelphia, USA. She earned all her degrees, PhD in guidance and counseling, MA in clinical psychology, BS psychology in the University of Santo Tomas. A registered guidance counselor, registered teacher, registered psychologist, registered psychometrician, certified counseling psychologist, certified assessment psychologist, and certified clinical and counseling supervisor by the Australian Counseling Association. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Dr. Sheila Marie Guevara Hoxon, popularly known as Doc Shake.
Ayan. Good afternoon po. Thank you so much, Dr. Anel, for that warm introduction. Of course, to Dean Wen Reyes, my big sister. And of course, a dear friend. Maraming salamat po. Of course, to AD, Assistant Dean Sir Mark Isla. Maraming salamat po. To our dear co-parents and of course co-educators, Ma'am Eda. And of course, to Sir Babsi. Okay? Of course, to Sir Ian. To all the organizers, to Ma'am Myra. Of course, to the FEU Psychology family, maraming salamat po. My heart is full and it is with absolute honor and pleasure to be here serving the parents, no? Ang mga co-parent ko po ng FEU. Of course, to Ma'am Gab, maraming salamat din po. Okay. So, my assigned topic, it's all about the adjusting the sales, okay? For self-care, especially for effective parenting. So, can you see my slide now? Okay. Nakikita niyo po?
Yes, Doc.
Right.
Yes po.
Yeah, thank you, dear. Yeah, thank you so much. So one of my agreements with you, now especially to all our dear parents, that I do hope no, that we will use the open space technology principles, that I do hope that number one, that whoever comes is the right person. Okay? So we are all the right person for this activity and thank you for coming and thank you also for your precious time. And number two, I do hope that when it starts, okay, so this is the right time for us to somewhat have the knowledge and I do hope have the skills and somewhat also have the value to have self-care in order for us to be a better parent. Number three, whatever happens is just a beginning of something great. I know we are doing a lot for our children and I do hope that this activity will help us to be greater. Okay? And of course, number four, I do hope that when it's over, it's over. So I'll be given a 40-minute uh, time to somewhat. I do hope that I can also inspire you for this activity. So mamaya po after that is, of course, we'll have time also with Sir Bob C. And of course, Ma'am Eda for the reactions as co-parent as well. And why we are all here, no? Bakit po ba tayo nandito? Because this is all for what? This is all for the welfare, eh? and the psychological well-being, especially of our Tamaraw digital youth. Okay? Our families, which is definitely our FEU family together with you, our school, okay? Of course, our churches, our communities, and of course, our country. And this is what they call the age of disruption, where everything was definitely disrupted from the traditional learning. Before we are just 75 to 50%. Now we are into 100%. We were all coerced by the pandemic that happened, and everything was definitely disrupted. And because of that, it also created a lot of stress, especially among parents. No? And this is what we call the study coming from the Hootsuite, wherein in January 2020, most of us are now into technology. From 7.75 billion, we're in 67% penetration are all into mobile phone. And of course, 4.54 are into internet, and 3.80% are all into active social media use. And because of that, according again to Hootsuite study in January 2020, that the Philippines is number one, okay? Wherein they really spent almost 10 hours from 16 to 64 years old. And together with us parents, kasama po tayo dito, na busy because also of our job, and now because of our 100% work from home, that created not only our lives but also some distractions in our family life. Okay? And because of that, we also have what they call the 89% chat app, wherein all of us want to have what they call easy access in our messaging, social networking in our different applications. And now, no, after 8 months of being in quarantine, we are now into online learning. And this is what they call the online education, or what they call the web-based learning. Eh? Na lahat po tayo ay busy. And I, for one, as a parent, I also have kids, no? And talaga pong pagsabay-sabay yung meeting ko sa umaga, okay? And then my children are also having their online learning. Talaga pong grabe ang stress, okay? And because of that, this is also what they call the VUCA world, wherein we tend to be volatile, we tend to be uncertain, wherein everything happens so fast and we are not aware when it will be finished. Everything was complex from physical to, of course, to financial. And now I do hope, no? Sana po ma-prevent natin ang mental health problem. That's why we have this advocacy-driven activity, not only for our students, but even for our parents. So we want to somewhat, no, prevent being fragile, and I do hope that we become agile, no? And FEU, through the collaboration of the Institute of Arts and Sciences and Psychology Department, joined forces together with the guidance office and now to give you the vision as a parent, and for you to know and understand and have a clear understanding of what will be your vision, what will be your direction, and what will be the meaning of your life, especially your role as a parent in this new normal. And I do hope that we will also have what they call the agility, wherein we will have what they call the professional humility to ask for help. Eh? I do hope that we also have the flexibility and the proactivity and the speed and the accountability in these times of new normal, in order for us to prevent stress that can become our burnout, and that can become a distress that can lead to some mental health problems. And I do hope that we also prevent the lockdown for being having a breakdown by this vision that we are giving. So at this very moment, what is the role, no, and the vision of a parent in the new normal? Eh? Ano po kaya yung naiisip nyong role or vision na gagampanan nyo, lalo na po ngayong pandemic? Eh? So there are some calibration, but let us always remember that parents, no, more than anything else, parents play a crucial role in the education, but not only in the education, but also in the well-being and better life of our teenage children. Okay? And because of that, this is my little family, and I'm just a young parent. I'm not really. My disclaimer is I'm not a guru, but I do hope that you will learn something. That everything starts with a family, and the first nourishing environment of IQ. And it's not only on supporting the IQ of our children, but also on their emotional quotient, their character strength. I do hope their social and spiritual quotient, their adversity quotient, their growing mindset, growing feelings and behavior in order for them to be resilient. I do hope that we are also giving them the diversity quotient online and offline, wherein we have to be inclusive, and of course the digital quotient in order for us to have what you call teaching our children, eh? What you call the holistic well-being. So napakarami pong trabaho, no? And napakarami po nating accountability sa ating mga anak because we are the absolute truth of our children, especially no, our growing children. So we are the strength, we are the support, and we are the anchor. And we are the partner of our children. So hindi po na tayo nila kalaban, definitely not our kontra, bulate, not our stressor, pero dapat po we help each other in collaboration with Far Eastern University. So, very important po na dapat nating gawin, eh, that in order for us not to be stressed, that it always starts with self-awareness and a decision coming from you to really help and assist your children, especially in their holistic well-being. Sabi dito, there's a saying that the universe only gives you challenges and it knows you are strong enough to overcome it. So know your strengths, focus on your strengths, and I do hope that your weakness can only be serving as a data for you to what? To learn something and for you to push, no? To be pushed to go for decision making and for you to better guide your children. So very important po, eh? Importante po na nagsisimula po sa ating sarili and importante po na magkaroon po tayo ng learning agility. Okay? The organization and effective skills coming from our self-management, preparation is very important. Okay? Very important din po itulong natin sa ating mga anak para ma-prevent po ang ating stress is healthy communication, non-adversarial technique na hindi po tayo sumisigaw. Okay, very important din yung also critical thinking, wherein definitely we go for paradigm shifting and transfer of technology, or else pag hindi po tayo sumabay sa ating mga teenager na anak, we will be left behind. Okay? Especially in these times of technology. Kailangan po talaga tayong mag-aral. Very important is also research. Importante po na ang self-care ay hindi lang po physical, but definitely, no? Eh, matter load din po ng ating knowledge and intellect. Kasama po dyan ang digital literacy and of course, active collaboration. With this learning agility, there are strengths of attributes, okay, coming from the learning agility, okay, aspect. Wait lang po. So these are what you call reflective, you have to be caring, you have to be open-minded, knowledgeable, inquirer, you have to be principled, you have to be a good communicator, you have to be humanistic, but backed up by firm discipline and fair agreement to your teenagers. Of course, risk taker and somewhat a balance, no, in order for us to respond in this VUCA world and not to be stressed. So very important also that we have to remember that among the Alpha Gen and Gen Z's children that we have, no? Baka po meron kayo mga bata pang anak from 0 to 12 according to the study of David Berkowitz, and from 11 to 22 to 23. Ito po yung mga college students natin or high school students natin sa FEU or sa FEU system, no? Baka meron din po kayo from our different branches that we are the absolute truth of our children. Okay? So pag stress po ang ating sarili, ganun po ang ating mga anak. So very important that after self-awareness, very important that you focus on your strengths. Okay? I do hope that you focus on your strengths, the strength of your children, and of course the strength of the family. Para hindi po tayo ma-down in these times of pandemic. Okay? So very important in the Gallup's model that the formula for strength is what they call talent and you multiply it by investment. Okay? And talent talks about inherent, no? Your natural way of thinking, feeling, and behaving. and you multiply it with the purposeful effort to practice, develop, and build your knowledge in order for you to have the superpower, no, as a parent. So, importante po na maganda po, umaga pa lang, ang ating pag-iisip, no? Ang ating puso at ang ating galaw, and definitely practice this attitude coming from and emanating from your cognition that can become your perception, your belief, eh? Your decision, your action, your character, and your life. Eh? And very important that we have to use is what we call based approach, wherein we have to nourish and focus on our individual strengths, our personal qualities as a parent, our abilities, our talents, and our skills, and even our interests and aspirations, and combine it with the love of our family, the love of our relatives, the love of our friends, and of course, the love in partnership with the university. So if we join forces, hindi po mauubos ang ating lakas, no? We can have better quality of life, and of course, we will be integrated in the 8 inseparable areas of our life: our daily living, our finances, even our work and education, social network, recreation, overall health, sexuality, and even spirituality, which is your holistic well-being. Very important din po, no? That aside from focusing your strengths, you also have to focus on your character strength. The love among the true digital natives are always equated with quality time and connection, no? So lagi po natin tatandaan that there's no such thing as work-life balance, but you really have to what? You really have to harmonize things, and of course your first priority is your family. Okay? Kasi pag hindi po natin pinapakita yung ating love, the digital natives, no? No, naiisip ng mga bata na hindi natin sila mahal. Kaya for me, this pandemic is really a blessing, and I do hope that we go on the opportunities, no? That it was what? That it gave, no? Para mas mawala po yung ating stress. Kasi kung magpo-focus tayo sa abnormal situation, mas lalo pong mawawala yung mga lakas natin. That can be a source of our stress. And very important that you always have to identify your strengths, no? Continued development of strengths, so that you can have positive, meaningful experience at hindi nyo makikitang pabigat ang ating online education at ang ating online learning. And of course, a lot of opportunities for successful development, blessings will come, and definitely positive expectations will come. Kesa po puro negative, definitely negative expectations and trauma will happen. So very important also after becoming self-aware, okay? And of course, focusing on your strengths. Very important po yung understanding well-being. No? So importante po that it's not just always on the physical, but it's a combination and a harmony of mental, emotional, family, social, and even your spiritual health in order for you to have the totality of well-being that you can also give and advocate to your family so that you can have what you call a holistic psychological well-being in your family, and definitely you will be successful in all your endeavors, especially your online learning. In this flourishing digital age, no? Very important po ang model ni Nina Hersher et al. That aside from the physical, mental, and of course productivity and relationships, very important din po that you go for digital literacy, that you really secure your privacy and security. Of course, no to oversharing, no to sad fishing, because always remember that when we post something, our number one follower is definitely our children. So pag parinig po tayo ng parinig, no? Okay, always remember that we have in our a right to post in our social media accounts, but that right is not absolute because we have accountability, especially to our children who follows us. Okay? So very important po that we advocate for civil and mindful interaction that can provide us a positive digital identity and footprint, and of course tech literacy. So pag tayo po ay stress na stress, importante po na wag muna po tayo makihalubilo, no? Sa mga tao na ikakairita natin, Eh? As much as possible, don't engage first to technology because it can make or break the life of your children. And that can be imprinted in their mind and also in your social media and other applications, or even your letters to your bosses or to your coworkers. So after that, after knowing well-being, becoming aware, positive and productive mindset, always remember to always recalibrate. Yeah? Matter load. And of course, lagi po tayong mag-aral. No? Awareness, learn, learn, and learn so that we won't be left behind. So that we won't also be left behind in guiding and anchoring our children. And one of the things that we need to also strengthen so that we will also prevent stress is definitely developing our digital citizenship and well-being pillars. And one of that is digital foundation to protect your data, digital wellness, healthy screen time, and not too much addiction. Okay, digital engagement, using technology to create a safe and inclusive communities to different types of people that we encounter, respect for them, and of course, using our digital engagement to go for empowerment, to inspire our children, to enable them, to influence them, and definitely to inspire our children in their holistic development. That will also create a lot of digital opportunities for us. It can be into digital marketing, no? Digital online selling, etc. So very important po para hindi rin tayo ma-stress. Importante po, no? Alamin natin ang ating canvas, no? Para at least may alam tayo, okay? Sa LMS ng ating mga anak. For other school, it's Blackboard. For other school, it's Moodle, Schoology. For FEU, definitely we have one of the best LMS, Canvas, no? And pag-aralan po natin yan. And also, all other applications, okay? Para lalo na po kung first year yung inyong mga anak at hindi na-expose nung kanilang no, senior high school, especially in the provinces. So, importante po na magabayan po natin sila in the different applications, especially Zoom, our Teams, no, our Google Meet, and so on and so forth. No? Very important din po to guide our children kasi marami rin pong mga teenagers ang na-abuse, lalo na po pag too much sharing or oversharing, or what you call emotional contagion, no? Or sad fishing that creates a lot of emotional contagion. Yung marami po talaga, kahit po kami sa guidance, pag madaling araw, we are also in monitoring. So meron po talaga mga nagsasad fishing. So very important po that we have to guide our children in using a lot of deadly sites, no? Wherein there are a lot of pedophiles and of course a lot of predators, no? Just like the Grinder, which is a dating site, no? I have nothing against our LGBTQIA family, no? Pero minsan dito po na-abuse yung mga LGBTQIA natin. And of course, nagkakaroon din po ng mga bentahan ng mga katawan or pictures or something. And of course, TikTok. Marami rin po talagang bumigay sa TikTok. Pero medyo delikado rin po ito because this is a pedophile magnet and somewhat also unsafe, especially for our teenagers, no? Especially our first year and second year na talagang naive pa. And because of that, sad fishing and oversharing, marami rin pong stress na pwedeng dalhin dito, lalo na sa safety ng ating mga anak, no? Pag nag-overshare ang kabataan at pag nag-sad fishing, there are a lot of predators that can be tempted watching over them, no? At magpapakilala that they are the long lost friend, or they will act as a good parent, no? That's why i-invite po yung anak ninyo for 1 to 3 pictures. Let's meet in real life, and then matututo na po ng mga ibang mga kalaswaan. Like get naked on camera, talk dirty more to me, and other lies, no? Okay, na pwede po talagang magkaroon ng threat in their safety. Kaya ang dami ring violence in these times of pandemic. And of course, in the study of Gums Gums Gill, no? Okay, that TikTok is one of the pedophile magnet Kaya importante rin po, no, na pag-ingatan din po natin ang ating mga anak sa paggamit nito. Kasi marami pong natitempt, no, sa ating mga magaganda at gwapong anak. And of course, also in this real life scenario, wherein a Thai kid last November 2019 also died because of too much addiction, because of this pandemic. And because of that, napakarami pong stress ng mga magulang. Kaya ang dami rin nagkakaroon ng mental health problems. And unfortunately, including pandemic, no, mas marami pa po talaga ang nagkaroon ng suicide rate. And unfortunately, Gen Z's second leading cause of death is suicide. Together with another bang na naman po yung ating pandemya. That triggered a lot of what? A lot of influences, no? Negative environment to our children who are our teenagers. That affects their mind, their heart, and their body. And of course, it also affected, no, their behavior and character. So very important, as you are aware of the many needs that cause our stress, no, very important that you identify the needs of your children, your college students, and your family in this distance learning program. And maganda po talaga ninyong pag-usapan at magkaroon ng family meetings and aligned it with your family vision. So very important, design your family vision. Hindi pa naman po huli ang lahat. You can also what? You can also somewhat, no, be involved in anchoring them into their study plan and of course their well-being activities based on the needs, the gaps, and the priorities for a better new normal. So very important po, no, that you really work as a family, by doing, no, and becoming committed with your family vision. That can also what? Nandiyan na rin po yung study plan, well-being activities, and even your family media plan problems. And these are some of the family vision that we can do for our children, and you can also align it with the university vision that we are having. We're in. We have to be brave in these times of adversity, just like FEU's core values, vision, and mission. And this will implicate a lot of agreements and policies when we talk with our children. Eh? Some rewards and punishments, some communication, lalo na po ngayon na hindi masyado nagko-communicate ang mga magulang at mga anak dahil puro gadget, some mobile-free meals, of course, family media plan, and a lot of schedules in the family. And because of that, we always go back to the basic, no? That we always have to go for warm, supportive parenting, positive coping skills with our children, stable environment and positive experiences para po ma-outweigh niya yung mga adversities brought about by pandemic and a lot of external factors, no, brought about by negative internet access, no, yung mga gadget requirements and so on and so forth. So you have to, for you not to be stressed with your teenagers, the right positive discipline is what you call, you have to be friendly with your teenagers, but definitely back up by your firm discipline. Yung firm discipline na nakikita po sa inyo, no? Kasi kung hindi yan nakikita sa inyo, hindi po nila yan magiging absolute truth at hindi po sila magiging ganon. And very important is the fair agreement, that if there are big consequences, there are also big problems. And if there are small problems, hindi po dapat tayo maging overacting, that we also have to have what we call small consequences. So very important that you encourage your teenagers to have comfortable and well-ventilated and lighted area. So preparation po ay very important. Stable internet and connection para po pag hindi stress ang anak nyo, hindi rin kayo stress, no? Okay? At hindi rin kayo stress, no? Sa kanilang mga negative grades dahil dyan sa negative setup natin. So preparation and right stable environment is also very important. And then of course some learning materials, and even you can put some plans to your children to positively influence their child's thoughts, mood, disposition, and studying. No? And of course, make good study plan na nakikita po natin para nakikita rin po natin, no, yung yung ating mga schedules ng ating mga anak. Kung somewhat nagpapapasok pa ba o hindi na. Eh? So hindi naman natin minomonitor totally kasi matatanda na yung mga yan. But very important kahit pa paano may mga visible areas po kayo sa kanilang mga schedules and plan. And of course, family media plan. No, para hindi naman din maging addictive because gadgets are definitely number one distractions, especially in these times of pandemic. And because of that, no, sa lahat po ng mga requirements na yan, at lahat po ng mga reinventions, improvement and recalibration, and mitigation that we did, no, and leveraging for our family, no, napakarami po talagang recalibration, eh, na ginawa po natin and upgrading. And because of that, importante po na magpatulong din kayo sa guidance offices ninyo. Lalo na kung ang inyong mga anak ay nagkakaroon na talaga ng mga somewhat mga red signals. Of course, in collaboration also with the FEU Psychology Clinic, wherein we also have online counseling. Okay? And because of that, we really have to be aligned for stability, okay? Para po maging maganda ang ating future. And with all of these preparations are the various new normal stresses that will come, such as balance and harmony in work from home and online learning. Nakita nyo po, napakarami pong travel ng ating trabaho as a parent, no? From preparing our mind, our thoughts, our feelings, and our behavior, sa lahat po ng mga preparations natin at pagpapasikaso natin sa ating mga anak, sa pag-recalibrate ng ating pamilya, especially in these times of new normal, lumalabas po ang mga stresses. And because of that, ito po yung situation natin, no? That we have a lot of work from home tasks and we need to balance, no? Our personal, our social, and family. And because of that, kaya po tayo na stress is napakarami po kasi talagang overwhelming load na ginagawa ng magulang. Kaya po multi-potential, multitasking, eh? And pag nagpadala po tayo sa mga negative thoughts na yan that we are always thinking that it is overwhelming and we never prepared our mind, our heart, and our values, and even physical preparations, okay? We will tend to be anxious, we will tend to be down, and we will tend to be nervous. That can create a lot of stress. And of course, it can also contribute to a lot of negative physical reactions that will avoid our task to become a parent and at the same time juggling our work from home arrangement. And the result will be failure to deliver work outputs and at the same time our role as a parent. So dyan po yan, no? Kaya importante po nating i-prepare ang ating strength na nagsisimula sa ating pag-iisip. Okay? And because of that, automatic thoughts that can be quick thoughts, these are dangerous that can lead us to a lot of cognitive distortions like too much worrying, no? Na hindi po tayo masyado nakakatulog, magnification, exaggeration, na minsan po nadadala na po natin sa ating trabaho. Kaya too much worrying can definitely not be healthy for us. That can create negative feelings and negative behavior. And because of that, it is very important that we go for self-care. Now, that's number 9. That self-care is essential. And katulad po nitong pandemic na ito, kailangan nyo po munang unahin ang inyong sarili to put your own oxygen mask first in order to take care of your family, for the dads and the moms out there, and of course for the second parents as well as the teachers. So self-care is definitely not ano naman po selfish, no? And it always starts with self-care plan. Okay? So paano po kayo magkakaroon ng self-care plan? Importante po na unahin nyo muna ano po yung mga values ninyo. Okay? Do you value happiness? Okay? Do you value your God or spirituality? Do you value your lifestyle? Okay? Or do you value your personal development? So know your values, your number 3 values. At dito po aangkla ang inyong self-care plan. So number 1, if you value happiness, what do you need now? Okay? anong mga kailangan mo para maging masaya ka. Eh? And pag nalaman mo ang iyong mga values at need na naka-align sa gusto mo, mas mapapadali, no, at mas mamomotivate ka to go for your self-care. And what are the self-care activities that you want to implicate based on your value of happiness and based on what you need, no? Pagkatapos po niyan, ilagay nyo lang po, i-minimize nyo lang po yung mga self-care activities kasi pag sobrang dami naman, baka hindi nyo magawa. Eh? After making some top 3 or top 5 that are practical and can be doable, then definitely anchor it with your simple goals and of course, commit na to your goals na talaga naman pong observable and practical. After that, you can also go for the simple self-care plan. Kung ayaw nyo po yung format na yon, definitely this one, no? Pwede po siyang holistic. If you want to be happy with your mind, with your body, and with your spirit, no? Lagay nyo po yung what makes you happy. And your strengths are your interests that you enjoy. Kasi pag hindi nyo po ito interest, kunyari hindi naman kayo mahilig sa music, or hindi naman kayo mahilig sa painting or baking, etc., definitely hindi nyo rin po ma-enjoy ang inyong self-care ninyo. And it can just be a stress on your part. So it's very important that you implicate your interests and skills there in making your self-care plan so that you will enjoy it and you will be successful. And afterwards, anchor it with the supportive people. It can be your friends, it can be your relatives, no? It can be your brothers and sisters, eh? And of course, no? Bakit nyo ginagawa yon? Do you want to be happy? Do you want to be at peace? Do you want to be good at work? Or do you want to be a good parent? And because of that, these are the sample activities that I can give you in order for you to discover your possibilities and nurturing yourself as a parent. Okay? So how will you feel your emotional cup? Okay? So number one, pwede po dito relationship. No? So adult relationship is do interact and offer support and rely on one, two, or three adults that you trust. Okay? So pag nagkakaproblema po kayo as a parent, importante po that you create your first layer of friends, second layer of people that you trust, third layer of the people that you trust. Okay? Para po pag down na down kayo, at least you can run to all your trusted friends, especially the first layer. Number two, my voice. Do I feel heard in my primary relationship? Am I speaking up? No? So, importante na magsalita po kayo. Okay? But of course, make it to a point that you are what? That you are in your right disposition and definitely nakapag-isip po kayo at kalmado na kayo. So, you can definitely voice it out, especially in your family meetings. Creativity. Do I set aside time to express myself in creative ways? No? So, importante po yung mga interest nyo like baking, gardening, painting, sculpting, digital marketing. You can do that, no? So that you can also have expression of your creativity to forget about your worries. So, marami pa po. Limit setting, of course, knowing your boundaries, no? Very important po yung physical nurturing, no? Do I feed myself? Baka puro tira na lang po yung kinakain nyo, okay? At masyado naman kayo nagsakripisyo. Groom yourself. Go to a safe parlor po ngayon, no? Kung medyo maputi na yung buhok nyo at gusto nyo naman mapalitan ng kulay, definitely pwedeng pakulay or pareban, depending on your values. Exercise, and of course, sleep, no? At hindi naman po mukha po tayong parang mukhang duster lagi ang ating itsura, mag-ayos-ayos naman. And hindi naman po tayo laging amoy kusina, no? Okay, so physical nurturing is very important. Personal capability. Challenge yourself, no? And to go for steps to achieve your personal goals. Kung malalaki na po ang inyong mga anak at gusto niyo naman po mag-aral ng masteral or go for some postgrad studies, or your interest, why not, no? Hindi naman po yan nakakabawas sa pagiging magulang. And of course, your contribution. Okay? Do I feel that I am contributing to my family, and my world? So, it is very important that you also go to your personal advocacy and of course, self-compassion. So do I practice gentleness and grace with myself? Baka naman po too harsh na kayo sa inyong sarili. So those are some of the nurturing, okay, yourself that can be practical application po para po ma-nurture po natin ang ating sarili at magkaroon po tayo ng self-love and self-care. So these are other self-care, clear unrealized strengths na gusto nyo pong ma-realize. Stability in your environment. Of course, no to online shopping addiction, lalo na po sa panahon ng pandemya, knowing your boundaries. And of course, no, yung boundaries din po na ang 7th day ay sana po pagpapahinga naman at sana 8 to 5 lang sana, no? And after that, pamilya na po sana. So very important din po in some of my collaboration activities with my work with Unilab. We also created this learning mindfulness activity and a resilience toolkit that we also gave to different schools in the country. Okay? So mindfulness can also be one of the evidence-based techniques that you can use as part of your body scanning, grounding exercises, no? Mindful eating and walking, and these 5 senses and other types of mindfulness, not only for your children, but for you as well. No? So aside from praying in the morning, you can use mindfulness activity to connect to your body. And of course, now focus on your attention and remove your over worrying, especially in these times of pandemic. So lastly, I do hope now that we use the strengths-based health and wellness, that I do hope that we build upon our strengths, emphasize on the positive, do what we enjoy. I do hope that we build upon our hopes and aspirations, and I do hope that we also build upon our family, community, and of course, our school strengths. Okay? So we are all for the holistic well-being of our TAMS parents, and of course, gratitude to us parents, no? Sa maganda pong ginagawa natin, no? Sa pagmamahal natin sa ating mga anak, our teenager kids, of course, our FEU, no? And have active partnership for the holistic well-being. So ang university po at tayong mga parents have what you call positive education in giving the happy, healthy, confident, and achieving discipline, no? With academic skills, tama raw students. So thank you for entrusting your children to us, no? And definitely, you can definitely count on us. Okay? So, where there is love, lagi po natin tatandaan, okay? Number one, self-care din po natin. There is miracle. Now, love ourselves, love our family, and of course, love unconditionally our children. So maraming salamat po. Eh? And I do hope that today you learn something to love yourself. And I do hope this with this little activity, I do hope that you will stop, no? Yung sobrang abuse naman po sa sarili. And I do hope that you start pampering yourself and loving yourself so that you can give more to your family. So thank you po. I'm Sheikh Guevara Hoxon po. Okay, maraming salamat and God bless you all.
Thank you, Doc Shake, for sharing us about the different ways to do self-care for effective parenting. Now, I am going to introduce our two reactors for this afternoon's event. First, the manager of FEU Media Center, Professor Babsi Morabe.
Hi, good afternoon to everyone. Yeah. Okay, should I start na ba with the reaction?
Yes, sir, you may start.
First and foremost, thank you very much to Doc Shake for this very enlightening talk about parenting and how parents can cope up in this time of pandemic with their children. I myself is a TAM parent. No, I have a son who happens to be in the 12th grade in the FEU SHS. At mahirap, sabi nga, no, napakahirap anong sitwasyon ngayon ng mga parents with regards to how they cope up with the new normal, particularly in the distance learning arena or in the online studying phase. No? Kaya napaka-importante, tama yung sinabi ni Doc Shake, na napaka-importante na meron tayo dapat self-care. Kasi kailangan mo munang alagaan yung sarili mo para maalagaan studying phase. No? Kaya napaka-importante, tama yung sinabi ni Doc Shake, na napaka-importante na meron tayo dapat self-care. Kasi kailangan mo munang alagaan yung sarili mo para maalagaan studying phase. No? Kaya napaka-importante, tama yung sinabi ni Doc Shake, na napaka-importante na meron tayo
And
dapat
sobrang dami kong
self-care.
natutunan dito sa
Kasi
talk
kailangan
ni Doc
mo
Shake
munang
na to.
alagaan yung sarili.
And I'm happy to say that some of them I am already practicing. You know, nag-onset ang COVID. Some of the preparations na binanggit ni Doc Shake, nagawa naman namin. And what's good about us is that tatlo lang naman kami. Anak ko, asawa ko, tsaka ako. The strength is we basically support each other. Tapos siguro swerte na din na, you know, we're kind of lucky that we were blessed with good internet connection, good schedules. Ang ganda nung family media plan namin na tatlo kung saan talagang alam namin kung anong gagawin namin in the long week or in the week ahead, alam na namin kung anong gagawin namin. Plus, medyo nag-let go ako ng konti sa teaching. So, ang nangyari is I could guide my kid now with his studies, no? Kasi with grade 12, medyo mahirap talaga, sobrang dami ng activities na binibigay. I have more time, no, in guiding my kid, no, on how to discover answers, paano mag-research, so on and so forth, no, para hindi siya ganun mahirapan. And since in the long week, we treat each other as best friends, no, at magaang para sa aming mag-ama yung relationship namin pag nagtuturuan kami, no, quote and quote, nagtuturuan kami sa mga school stuff niya. So, thank you so much, Doc Shake. Ang galing. Ang dami kong natutunan. And hopefully, may mga natutunan din yung ating mga viewers ngayong araw na to.
Thank you, Sir Babsy, for the kind words. Maraming salamat.
Okay, our second reactor is one of the professors of the Psychology Department, Professor Edelu Ochanko.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Sheikh, for sharing your practical and much needed advice for us parents who are really juggling home and work demands in this pandemic. Thank you also to Professor Murabe for the additional insight. Parenting during COVID-19 with its prolonged government lockdown is definitely stressful to many of us parents. Personally, I found myself balancing work responsibilities and homeschooling my children at the same time. And I think even the most calm and collected parents may feel overwhelmed right now, responding to endless emails, attending Zoom meetings and behind-the-scenes classes, maintaining Canvas pages, all while assisting their own children understand their own science and math modules, for example. So I asked myself, how do I adjust my sales? Prior to the lockdown, parenting was smooth sailing. You know, it meant keeping track of my children's progress in school with the help of my partner and their yaya. I'm very grateful for that. Just like a team, we attend or participate in almost all school events and maintain regular communication with their teachers and school administrators. We encourage the children to pursue their hobbies and other interests, and we go out on weekends. Also, prior to this lockdown, I have consciously designed my life to have social outlets to reduce the stress of being a working parent. Self-care meant finding the time to see my friends and classmates whenever possible. I would go to the gym every week. I socialize with my colleagues in the university, and sometimes I even attend out-of-town conferences just to change the theme once in a while. I even go window shopping just to relieve the stress of work deadlines and parenting responsibilities. But, well, without warning, these stress-reducing social outlets are no longer available. And as the weeks turn into months in this lockdown, reality has set in. Gradually, I come to realize and accept that this situation is going to take longer than was originally thought. I had to come to terms with demands of the present and let go of the old life. there is no more life outside the home, no school events to participate in, no teachers, no taekwondo lessons, and no more Sunday outings. For me, this meant no more gym classes or out of town trips. So, what to do? I would really like to seriously consider some of your suggestions, Dr. Sheikh. When you talked about self-care plan, starting with determining my values, identifying trusted adults I can interact with, speak up, feel heard. I will make sure to set aside time to be creative. I could try maybe baking, okay, and then of course that part on exercise, home exercise this time. And then I like that part where you said challenge to achieve personal goals and exercise compassion. Okay, from Sir Babsy, I would also like to consider his insights on his strategy for what he said as their own family media plan. Like guiding his kid with his studies, like doing research and discovering answers. On my part, I go back to what Dr. Sheikh said earlier about spending quality time together. So I agree that although the boundaries separating work and home might have been blurred by this work from home setup, it is still important to make sure that there's quality time spent with the children. So if it's possible to find pockets of time where there is during breakfast, lunch, bedtime, or any available time in between work or answering modules, that would be great. It does not have to be long because what is important is the quality of interaction, like what Dr. Sheikh said earlier. So, although the old life that's full of outdoor activities is gone, our new normal is here. We might as well spend it wisely by investing quality time with our children, knowing that when this is all over, we may all end up so busy and barely seeing each other again. So, yeah, spend quality time together while there is time. Thank you, Dr. Sheikh. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Murabe and Professor Ochanko, for the meaningful insights and best practices on self-care towards effective parenting. Now we proceed to the open forum or the question and answer portion of our webinar. To help us facilitate with the Q&A, please welcome the project manager of FEU Heal Space Psychology Clinic and coordinator of Psychology Graduate School or Graduate Studies, Professor Gabriel Rodriguez.
Thank you, Myra. So we have some questions here that's for Doc Sheikh. So our first question is, how do you think us parents will be able to de-stress despite the limitations imposed on us by the quarantine?
So I think very important talaga ngayon is yung mga activities nyo is talagang ano lang, talagang indoor lang, no? And one of the things that we are doing as a family is definitely mindfulness, especially as early in the morning and before we go to sleep, no? And then my husband is into he's a vegan, no? So more on ano talaga kami, vegetable talaga kami ngayon. Very important that my husband and my kids are also into yoga. So I just participate, no? And then meron din kami mga creative activities like drawing. My kids are also into music, eh? And then some storytelling and some games, no, that can also provide uh, bonding and quality time with my children. So basta we have to be just creative, aligned with our interest po, no? Kasi kung hindi natin interest, for example, our kids are not really into writing, no? Paano po siya magjo-journaling, no? So something that is aligned with his or her value, and maybe you can also go for not only a family media plan, but what I told earlier is a family well-being plan that you can go as part of your family vision, and of course as part of your plan as a family. So you have to be creative, aligned with all your interests.
Thank you, Doc Sheikh. So we have another
Yeah.
question here. So our question is, what is the best way us parents can do to take care of ourselves and yet bond with our children at the same time?
Yeah. For me, I really have a me time. Eh? Where usually my me time is usually in the morning. No? So doon talaga ako nag-work on my end, especially on my work. Kasi my kids are all alive. No? Pagdating ng online learning, wherein I have to be there for them because my kids are still grade 5 and kinder. No? So usually I have my me time in the morning when I pray. No? Yan po talaga. And of course, Sundays is really for family. So usually we have a little home, no, outside our home in Quezon City. So that is somewhat our familyness. We're in, we really get to bond. Tapos walang internet kasi doon eh. So talagang digital detox ng buong family yon. And then we get to walk around kasi safe yung environment doon. Walang masyadong tao. So I think you can also make your boundaries, no? Okay? So ako usually when I work, talagang 8 to 5 lang. Okay? So you usually have to really give your boundaries, no? Na wala nang masyadong call except if we have suicide watch. Talagang naka 24 hours talagang pero hindi naman lagi kasing ganon. So put your boundaries, no? Na talagang paggabi wala kaming wifi eh. So when I go to sleep, wala na talagang wifi. In our rooms, we have really a weak wifi and that's meant to really be because our room is really for sleeping. So wala kami mga gadgets sa kwarto talaga. It is really just more for sleeping and I advise you na sana is you also put your mga gadgets ninyo na nakikita nyo yung mga anak ninyo so that somewhat you can somewhat no kasi ayaw ng mga teenagers yung binibreak yung privacy nila so kahit pa paano medyo magandang strategy yon to somewhat monitor your children pa rin indirectly no so I do hope that your rooms are created really for sleeping and not for working. Yan. So marami, pwedeng in the environment or pwedeng personal decision or pwedeng family self-care plan as well. Not only your individual self-care, but also your family self-care wherein individually, meron kayong mga self-care na dapat gawin. And of course, a commitment not to break it.
Thank you for the answer, Doc Shay. So
Yeah.
we have another question here. So any tips in balancing work and quality time, especially having a newborn kid? What's the work-life balance for us parents now that we are on work from home setting? Thank you.
Yeah, in the new paradigm of the human resource, no, and even in industrial psychology, there's no such thing as balance. No? Kahit naman ikakasal ka, hindi ka pa rin sigurado sa buhay mo eh. Okay? So there's no such thing as balance, but you have to go for work-life harmony. And of course, know your priorities, aligned with your values. For me, my values is really, my first one is God. My second one is family. And my third one is my work and advocacy. So, ah pag nagdi-disrupt siya no ng Sunday, I really don't work on a Sunday. Okay? Saturday is usually for my some webinars that I do and some community work or graduate school studies, ganon. Pero usually Sunday, no? Talagang para sa akin talaga 'yon. Okay? So, importante, no? That there's no such thing as balance, but you harmonize everything by knowing your priorities anchored with your values. No? So kung nakikita mo na nakaka-disrupt na yung iyong trabaho sa iyong family quality time, I think you have to lessen it. No? So the pros and cons, no? And kailangan talaga magbawas. Hindi pwedeng lahat hahakutin yung trabaho. Lalo na pag hindi na kaya ng katawan. Eh? And of course, yun nga, pag nasa-sacrifice na yung time mo sa pamilya mo. Okay? So Sunday, no disturbance na talaga tayo. Family quality time na yun.
Thank you for that answer, Doc. So here's another question. So it is unavoidable that some parents may go through symptoms of a mental health problem, especially in this pandemic. So what do you think are ways that individuals or parents rather are able to effectively cope with the situation?
Ako, I for one, I did a lot of advocacy works during this time, no? Na talagang because of this pandemic, hindi ko talaga kaya una yung idle lang. Talagang nag-adjust din ako ng mga ilang weeks, no? So what I did is, yon, I channeled my energy to advocacy and kung ano yung mga interest mo, that will be your source of strength, no? Your interests, your abilities and potentials can definitely be your strength in times of pandemic. And even finding your unrealized strengths, no? Maraming mga tao ang naka-find ng unrealized strengths nila. Wherein dati, gardening is not an in thing, but now we are all into gardening and napakamahal na ng plants ngayon. Some interest that we can do, okay? So for me, what I did is I've made a toolkit, okay? A resilience toolkit to help especially the teenagers. And then I've made a book with the Department of Education for the psychosocial support. So hanapin nyo lang po yung purpose ng buhay nyo, align with your values and advocacy, and definitely you can make some strategies how to do it and makakalimutan yung problema nyo.
Thank you for that answer, Doc. So here's another question.
So sana tulungan ako nila Sir Babsy, tsaka ang daya ako
Sure,
na.
sure. Walang
Sir
problema.
Babsy, kayo naman. O kayo kaya yung mga parent talaga dito ng mga teenager. Sige, dear. Sir Babsy na yan.
Okay. The next question po is here. It's related to teenagers actually. So,
Ayan. Sir Babsy.
so as a parent,
Kay
how
Sir Babsy po talaga yan.
Oh, yan. Ay, sir. Grabe. Kasi kala ko sobrang hirap ng mga tanong.
I will try my best. I will try my best to answer the question.
Ang hirap ng tanong, grabe.
So, a question for Sir Babsy. As a parent, how can I best encourage my teenagers to stay focused and be not affected on some negative feedback that they receive from people in social media?
Wow.
Ang
Okay.
hirap, Babsy.
You see my kid is
Buti nandito si Babsy.
kasi my kid is one of the friendliest in the campus. He gets along very well with his friends and peers in the campus. Although may mga times na mahiyain talaga siya, but once you get along with him, medyo talagang he gels with everyone. But the thing with my kid is meron kasi siyang maliit na speech impediment, which now is taking its toll on him now that he's engaged in the online learning arena. He stutters kasi most of the time, especially if he gets too excited. And that's one thing na medyo nagbabother sa kanya na he tends to think na baka mamaya mabuli ako and all that. So kasi nga because of the stutter, a minor stutter actually. But syempre in the social media world, kapag ikaw ay hindi nakikita and you can only be heard, it tends to give a lasting impact dun sa mga nakikinig sa'yo, especially sa isang teacher. Because sometimes, di ba, when a student stutters, a teacher would sometimes think na, baka hindi ready to kasi nag-stutter. So I would tell him that, number one, you should embrace your hindi naman disability, but yung pagiging different mo when it comes to speaking. Learn to embrace it and channel it into something positive. Sabi kong ganun. Hindi madali ang online. So definitely, you just have to be yourself. If you feel that you are going to stutter o magkakaroon ka ng problema sa pagsasalita, okay lang yun. Learn to embrace it because apparently, hindi naman din lahat sila perfect. And I would always tell him na okay lang yan, okay lang ma-reject, okay lang din na mag-fail. Kasi in rejection and in failure, you get to learn, sabi ko. Kanina nga may post ako sa Facebook, ang sabi ko lang, dapat ang mga magulang, we get to guide our kids, at huwag nating hayaang maging dependent na tayo lahat yung gagawa for them. Tayo yung magde-defend sa kanila all the time, lalo na sa social media. Siguro importante din na maintindihan nila at malaman nila yung failure at rejection, pero our job as parents is to guide them emotionally and morally so that they could, accept these challenges. So yun sa tingin ko yung somehow makakatulong para hindi sila mabully or maka-cope up sila kung meron mang nang bubuli sa kanila or meron man problema sa kanila physically or otherwise.
Okay, sir. So I just like to reiterate another question because this question was actually meant for Sir Babsy. So I would just like to reiterate, so are there any tips in balancing work and quality time from your perspective, sir?
Oo, ang tip dyan, alamin mo kung ano yung gusto ng anak mo. Tapos, hindi naman pilitin, pero subukan mong gustuhin kung ano yung gusto niya din. Because that's the only way siguro na mag-gel kayong dalawa. Kapag yung gusto niya, tinry mong gustuhin, and sa tingin ko, mas maganda yung, mas maganda yung bonding yung dalawang mag-ama. Like in our case with my kid, kung ano talagang pinapakinggan niyang music, I try to listen to it. And even if I don't like it, dahil alam mo na, in terms of age difference, I find myself listening to it and somehow nagugustuhan ko na rin siya. In fact, pinapollow ko siya sa Spotify kasi pinakikinggan ko yung mga music niya. Nagugulat siya kasi minsan pinapatugtog ko yun sa baba, tapos sabi niya, oh, ano ko yan ha? Playlist ko yung pinapatugtog mo ha. And somehow when you share things together, mas maganda yung bonding ng dalawa. Mas nagiging open siya sa'yo. Mas nasasabi niya kung ano yung nararamdaman niya. And for me, that's gold, di ba? Listening to it.
Thank you, Sir Babsy. So the next question is for Doc Shake now. Okay. So
Wala si Ma'am Eda. Si Ma'am Eda. Sige.
So the
Sige
question
po,
is
mag-share po ako.
okay,
Sige, dear.
let's get the answer from Doc Shake first and then followed by Ma'am Eda's perspective on the answer.
Sige,
Okay.
dear.
So
Sige po.
what worthwhile activities can you suggest for Gen Z as well as parents to engage with now that we are in a pandemic other than spending time on social media? So Doc Shake, you may go first.
Kami, Gen Zs kami, mga anak ko, actually, alpha dyan yung mga anak ko. So, yon definitely we go for their interest, no? Talagang we are into blocks, no? Sa aking mga anak. Pero of course, among teenagers now, importante ka talaga, sumabay ka kung ano yung mga interest nila. Like K-pop, no? Very important yan. And then, very conscious din sila, lalo na pag mga girls. I was just in Saints ko kahapon. So, ang gusto nila, tsaka Philippine Science High School, make-up. So, importante na matuto ka rin ng mga interest nila, make-up, drawings, if they are into, And of course, very conscious sa mga bata talaga into the body. And of course, peace of mind. Talagang, mindfulness activities are very important now na dapat nyo talagang ituro sa inyong mga anak, tsaka yoga. Very important din yung mga music, no, na hindi naman po, of course, yung iba talagang metal, kaya lang, hindi po kasi, mas lalo kasi nakaka-stress yan sa mga bata. Lalo na pag nag-aaral sila, it is not really advisable na sabay kahit po talagang multitasker ang inyong mga anak because it can definitely distract them. No? Very important din yung mga healthy habits like when you go to sleep, an hour before, wala na dapat screen time. Okay? And then, usually, ang mga anak ko, usually, yan, pinagsiswimming namin talaga pag merong pwede, no? We bought a little pool here. And then, a scooter, some physical activities that they can really stretch into. And then, ano pa bang ginagawa nila? Artworks. My kids are more into artworks and activities. Yan. So, usually cloistered talaga dito. And then, some games. No? So some games that they can definitely go into like board games or some yung mga categories can also be one. And then of course, yun nga, quality time talaga 15 minutes when you wake up and 15 minutes when you go to sleep. No? So you eat with them in the morning, early in the morning, you kiss them. Okay? And of course, we have some rituals when we go to sleep. Usually mindfulness din ang pampatulog namin. Okay? I do hope that I answered that.
Okay, thank you, Doc Shake. So now we would like to get Ma'am Eda's output on the question.
Okay. Similar din kay Doc Shake, yung activities na pinapagawa namin sa mga bata. So yung regular yung daily exercise nila. Parang yun na yung counterpart ng PE. So meron silang basketball doon sa little boy. Alpha siya eh. And then yung isa yung Gen Z. Ano naman, badminton. Pero siya lang at saka yung papa niya yung naglalaro. So basta hindi umuulan, so they do that. And then, break from social media and yung sa gadgets. So, I asked them to read. Yan. So, bahala sila kung ano yung gusto nilang basahin na libro. And then, we set aside time for them to share what they read. So, kukwento nila sa akin yung nabasa nila. And then, idadagdag na rin nila sa kwento nila yung pinapanood nilang mga anime or cartoons para doon sa little boy. Music, we're trying pero hindi pa sila into it eh. So, mahirap na pilitin, sabi ni Sir Babsy kanina, kailangan kung ano yung gusto nila, doon muna tayo. And then, saka na natin subukan kung magugustuhan din nila yung mga ini-introduce natin sa kanila. What else? Yung art, some art, sketching and drawing din, and block, sabi nga ni Doc Shin. So yun, yung variety, I think nabanggit din ni Doc Shake kanina yung variety para nga hindi ma-addict yung mga bata sa gadgets, sa social media. So kung possible na bigyan sila ng varied or different activities para naman mas engaging and fun din yung setup na to. Yun. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Eda. So we have one very last question for Doc Shay.
Gab, sa'yo na yan, Gab. Sige, Gab. Si Doc Anil naman.
Okay. So while it is understandable that we need to place ourselves first, there is still the worry that we may not be effective parents to our children. So the big question here is, are there signs that I need to pay attention to so that I know that I might not be doing my role anymore, being a parent to a millennial or a Gen Z? So what suggestion can you give for us to blend with them and still function as professionals, since we are also working from home and at the same time monitoring our children?
Yeah. Ako lang is that very important among the Gen Zs of today. I do hope that you all teach them life skills, no? For them to be strong as a person. So very important yung simple dishes, no? Kailangan matuto silang maglaba, no? Maging matatag sa buhay, no? Magluto, maglinis. Very important 'yan. And to also make their decisions on their own. And I do hope that the parents will not be pakialamera, but only facilitating, the pros and cons of their actions, but definitely the children should know how to evaluate and make a decision. That's the number one life skills that you have to instill with your children. Aside from the daily chores, no, decision making is very important. Kasi kung maging independent yan at magiging parasite, no, you will definitely be creating a lot of generations of fall rather than greatness, no. So sana yun ang ating ituro. Ang pagiging matatag is definitely instilling them the life skills. And of course, paano nila matututunan yan? By becoming a better example in your choice of words, in your thoughts, in how you deal with people, the choices that you make, no, yung mga movies na pinapanood mo, mga kaibigan mo that you are surrounded, the books that you read, these are the absolute truth that you are teaching to your children. Kaya importante, especially if you are a parent of 0 to 18 years old, that is the formation of values, no? In the developmental psychology, you really have to be a better parent and a better example, no? In your simple ways to big ways in order to raise a great kid. That's it.
Thank you, Doc Sheikh. So now that we've wrapped up our Q&A, I will now give the floor back to Ma'am Myra.
Thank you, Professor Rodriguez. So to formally close the program, may we request the Institute of Arts and Sciences Associate Dean, Mark Salvador Isla, to give us the closing remarks.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear
Yes
you.
po. Good afternoon.
Okay. Dr. Wen Pulong Reyes, Dr. Sheikh Hoxon, our guest speaker, Dr. Anel Humamil, the Department Chair of the Department of Psychology, dear faculty members, students, dear parents, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. So this afternoon, we are fortunate to have Dr. Sheikh Hoxon to speak about the different ways that parents can take in navigating the world of parenting, especially in a situation like this, where our children are mostly at home and doing all school works online. One that Dr. Sheikh emphasized in her talk is the idea that while you're trying to take care of your children and your family, you also need to take care of yourself. Alam ko marami sa atin ang mga nakaka-experience ng stress habang sinusubukan natin na hatiin ang ating oras sa trabaho at ang oras para sa atin or para magabayan natin ang ating mga anak. Kung minsan, mas napagtutuunan natin ang pansin ng isang bahagi ng ating responsibilidad at napababayaan naman natin ang iba pang mga responsibilidad. So kung minsan sa sobrang dami ng ating mga ginagawa, napagtutuunan natin ng pansin ang mga maliliit na bagay na nakakapagpataas ng dugo natin hanggang sa tayo ay manigaw, manisi, manita ng mga anak. So lalo na sa mga gawaing bahay. Subalit tulad ng sinabi ni Dr. Sheikh, maaari nating mabago ang mga ganitong sitwasyon sa pamamagitan ng isang epektibong komunikasyon kasabay ng ating pag-aalaga sa ating sarili. When we do this, we'll be able to achieve harmony within our family. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Department of Psychology for organizing this parenting webinar series to help all parents, especially the parents of our students, to cope with the new normal. Rest assured that the Institute of Arts and Sciences, together with the Department of Psychology, will continue to organize webinars or online activities that will surely give us additional knowledge and information as regards to social and psychological well-being of everyone. Thank you very much. Stay safe and have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you, Associate Dean. And thank you very much. And see you again to our next parenting webinar series. Have a great afternoon.